Hey guys, welcome back. It's Sports with Mono and Mono. It's December 20th, less than a week away from Christmas. And of course, I'm here with my co-host Elijah Weintraub. Eli, so I understand you finished your first semester at Seton Hall. How you doing this week?
I'm doing great. First semester's in the books. We
Good.
had snow this week and it's all melted away, but there's plenty of sports to talk about here and a lot of stuff to cover on today's show. And we're glad you're joining us. So we kick things off with the Mono-Logue, sponsored by Coriano Trucking of Summer Hill, New York.
And Eli, the monologue is all yours. Take it
Right
away.
on back to me. I appreciate that, Jim. And of course, I have to go and start this monologue by talking about the NBA Cup because that was the tournament that just concluded. And you know what? The New York Knicks finally won something. They finally won a piece of hardware. They beat the Spurs 124 to 113, and they took home a piece of hardware, the NBA Cup trophy, a bunch of medals, and a lot of cash for the players. But
Yeah, $530,000 a piece.
$530,000 a piece. That is absolutely right. But the question is, what do we benefit as fans from watching this? What do they benefit besides the money? I've been thinking that a lot. Well, let's go back to the origin of the cup and how this all happened. Well, the cup was an idea that came from soccer. They said they saw soccer do an in-season tournament. And they said, yeah, you know what? If it works for soccer, it's got to work for the NBA. So they decided to do that. They had 3 cups. It's the third year they've done it. The Lakers and the Bucks were your 2 previous winners of the cups. But the NBA has been competing with a lot of sports. They're competing with the NFL, college football, NHL. They're competing with a lot of sports. And this is, I think, the wrong time to put the NBA Cup. So they say, let's go for it. And what it values. Well, you get money for the players. So that's something. The money goes to the players. And you get a trophy for the team. But for the fans, there's nothing really that we benefit from it other than there's more games to watch. But if we look at it from a fan perspective, there's already a lot of games to watch already. Now we got more games to watch that really don't really matter, except it goes to the regular season record, yeah, but it doesn't mean nothing. It's just another game. And it's
I
just a weird
agree.
tournament. But
Right.
what also comes with the NBA Cup is a curse. Because if we look at the Lakers and the Bucks, they won the trophy and they won the cup, but they never won the NBA championship. They never made a run for the money in the playoffs. And if we look at last year, the Oklahoma City Thunder lost the NBA Cup, but they went on to win the NBA championship. So could the Spurs do that this year? We'll have to wait and see. To me, I think the Knicks should savor this win because this might be the only piece of hardware that they're going to get in a long time. They decided they ain't going to hoist the banner because they said, you know what, it means nothing. Um, and they ain't going to close up. And maybe they'll win a trophy this year, another trophy with the NBA championship. But in my eyes, though, I see that there's a curse with this tournament, and I don't see them winning a trophy, the main trophy, anytime soon in my eyes. But let me know your thoughts. Are the Knicks cursed? Are they not going to win an NBA championship now that they won this cup? And how do you like this cup? What are your thoughts? Be sure to call on as well. Scan the QR code and click on the link as well.
Yeah, and I have some thoughts on it, and you know my thoughts.
Yeah.
It really doesn't mean anything. It's basically just regular season, but they mask it. Right. Um, the fact that there was a controversy whether they should raise a banner. Raise a banner. You won regular season games. It has no meaning. It would be almost an embarrassment to raise that to the rafters, and it would
Well, the
be
Lakers and the Bucks did.
disrespectful to it'd be disrespectful to the last NBA championship that the Knicks won some 52 years ago. 1973.
But we have to keep in mind 2 things, though. The Lakers and the Bucks, they hosted a trophy, and they hosted a banner as well. And they didn't care. And the Lakers just won a couple years ago, the 2020 NBA Finals at Disney World.
I
Uh,
know. And I know you're a big believer in curses in sports. I know.
yes, I believe in the curses in the sports, and I think that they're cursed. They're not going to win the trophy now. But maybe because they didn't hang up a banner, maybe they won't be cursed. But we'll have to
Well,
wait and see.
it just is really basically we've talked about it, Eli. It
It means
really
nothing for the
is
fans.
meaningless in all aspects of the regular season. So it did they get more viewership because of this? Maybe a little bit, but as you
Well,
said
we haven't
before,
checked the viewers. Let's check that out.
right? But you're absolutely right. They're competing right now with NFL and college football and now the start of college basketball. So you know what? It's something I guess the NBA and Silver thought would be more intriguing. And you're right, Oklahoma City losing last year, they were clearly the best team, and right now they're the best team in the NBA. So I look for them to actually repeat this year. So whether the Knicks in the NBA Cup or not, I don't still don't see. Although they do have an easier path in the Eastern Conference with the Celtics being non-relevant and the Pacers not being relevant this year.
Right.
So they do have a clearer path, but you know what? Overall, it doesn't get me excited that multi millionaires get an extra $500,000 in their Christmas stocking. So
Well, to go to the viewership, and then I'm going to go to comments and a caller. This year's viewership was only 3.07 million viewers on Prime Video. Believe it or not, it is down from the first final, that first NBA Cup final, which averaged 4 million viewers. But again, they also moved to a streaming platform, Amazon Prime Video, which they did a good job. Don't get me wrong, but still, it is the viewership is not high either. It's 3 million. Dancing with the Stars had more viewers. Figure that one out.
well, I wasn't one of those viewers, but
I understand. I'm just letting you know that a Dancing with the Stars competition had more viewers than an NBA Cup. Let's just point that out.
all right.
Couple comments, and then we'll go to a caller. Tom says, "Good morning, Tom." William says, "Good morning, fellas. The NBA Cup is a joke. It's all for the money, not the fans." Brandon says, "The
Absolutely.
NBA didn't have a ratings problem in the 80s and 90s. What happened?"
Well, the quality, what happened, Brendan, is the quality of basketball has turned into a 3-point shooting match. They don't play defense during the regular season. That's why really the regular season is completely meaningless to me in the NBA. But yeah, you know, if that's what they want to hang their hat on, that the NBA Cup is relevant, well, you're not fooling the average sports fan.
Oh yeah.
Certainly not me.
Well,
Yeah.
we have our first caller, and we have Ed Heath here. Ed, good morning. Could you hear us?
Yes. Good morning, guys. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Hey, Ed. Good
Hey,
morning to you too, buddy.
hey, how's everything? All right?
Good. I saw some cool pictures of your son at Princeton and all that kind of stuff online. It was great.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, I got a question here, guys. First off, who was the guy who knocked out Jake Paul last night? Because I kind of missed that one.
Yeah,
Oh, some guy named Vargas or something.
forgot to look up the opponent, but yes, I know the big fight was last. Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
he broke his jaw too last night. I saw that. That was pretty crazy in
Yeah,
itself.
it
Jake
was a
Paul.
wicked shot. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
wicked.
You know what? You know what's so funny, Eddie, is because we talked about this about how great when you and I were growing up, how great boxing was, and
Yes.
you know, you just had constant, you know, the top echelon. But you know, Ed, in boxing, there really is it's a dying sport, and I there's really very little interest on my part. Um, so it's you know I don't know it's becoming more of a show. Is Jake Paul considered a professional fighter? How would he stack up against guys like Sugar Ray Leonard and you know all of the old time greats?
Right.
And this is coming off the heels of we talked last week about the documentary on Muhammad Ali and the fights that you and I saw growing up with Foreman and Norton and you know even the beating that Muhammad Ali took from Ernie Shavers and things like that. I used to love boxing, and I have no interest in it at all anymore.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And also last night there was a lot of fans commenting online that Jake Paul wasn't going to survive the match that night. There was no potential for him in last night's fight. Like I know a couple people I talked to, they were going to watch the fight and stuff. They said they had no hope in Jake Paul, that he was going to be knocked out. They thought his opponent Anthony Joshua was going to take the victory. And we saw that clearly last night. 6 rounds, and Jake Paul is out, and he suffered a jaw injury. But he believe he's fighting in a week from now, if I'm not mistaken. As well, I think Jake Paul. Yeah.
Well, Eddie, let me ask you a question. Are you from? And again, like I said, I know you know the history of boxing from you know when we were growing up.
Right.
Do you even spend time following the sport of boxing anymore?
I do to a certain extent, but not a lot. No, not really. Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. Did they make you pay for that fight last
yes,
night?
they did. Netflix. It
Yep.
was on Netflix last night. So if you don't have Netflix, you couldn't watch the fight.
Yep.
No.
Well, that's just like any sport, and even national television shows, which I'll get to in my random point segment. They're moving from cable television, where we all used to watch. You got to pay to watch. You got to pay to watch. You got to do this. You got to do that.
Yep. I was just watching the highlights of it, and he really took a shot. That's
Yeah,
what made it. I mean, I thought a lot of his things are fixed, just
of
to make
course.
money. But last night he got belted.
No.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see him
I
in the hospital. Yeah.
appreciate the input, Eddie. And like I said, not too long ago, I watched ESPN broadcasted Frazier Ali 1, 2, and 3, and that was boxing back then. I mean, edge of your seat. I loved it, and you know how I feel about Muhammad Ali. What a wonderful, articulate guy, and so relevant outside the ring. That's boxing to me. That was boxing.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the call, Eddie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Eddie. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Bill said
All right,
he
Eli.
watched the fight last night with Jake Paul. He needs to stay with UFC. That fight was not all the hype. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not a UFC guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a prude, but it's too barbaric for me. I don't
Absolutely.
get it.
Let's go now to talk some college football. Because that is the sport that we're going to talk about. And we'll lead things off with Alabama's big win over Ole Miss as an upset 34-24. They will now take on Indiana in the Rose Bowl. And on top of that, we got 3 exciting games today in the college football world, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. We'll preview the bracket right there for you with the teams and the information and stuff. But we have a great day of college football ahead of us, Jim.
Yeah, and definitely, I took Alabama last night, and I said, obviously they have to run the football because running the football has been a challenge for them all year. And they were down 17-0 to Oklahoma on the road, rallied back. So that's a big win for Alabama. And you know what? This is going to be great because Alabama, Indiana in the Rose Bowl. That I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see.
It's going to be a great Rose Bowl to see. And Indiana's been looking really good all season long. And speaking of Indiana, Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman last week, which many of us called on the show. But we look at today's games. We got 3 games. We'll go one by one and we'll give our picks there. We'll start off with the 12 o'clock game. That's on ABC and ESPN. The number 10 Miami takes on the number 7 Texas A&M. The winner takes on Ohio State on New Year's Eve. Who do you like in this one, Jim?
Well, this is an interesting game because when you look at it, I really like Texas A&M's offense, but their Achilles heel is the defense. And I think Carson Beck, he's starting to settle back down in Miami to exploit that Texas A&M defense, who can put up a lot of points too, but I'm going to take the Hurricanes.
I'm going to go with Texas A&M in this one to win this one big.
Big.
So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Miami's on the road. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Bill says, hey, Jim, are you still picking Ohio State for the national championship?
Well, it's an interesting thing because, I've been on Ohio State all year, but I couldn't have been, William, more impressed with Indiana and the way they really took it to Ohio State. So I'm going to consider Indiana the team to beat right now. And I don't know if they're going to end up meeting in the bracket or whatever with Ohio State for the rematch, but that would be a great match. But I think Indiana's the team to beat right now.
Bill says Indiana is the underdog, his pick.
Yeah.
We go to our next game, 3:30 on TNT and True TV. The number 11 Tulane versus Ole Miss. The winner plays Georgia on January 1st in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Who do you like in this one, Jim, between this 11-6 matchup?
Well, listen, we've talked about, or at least I've spoken a little bit about Tulane, and they've played good. So we have these 2 games, right, which kind of on paper look like easy. Oregon, JMU, and
Yes.
Tulane, Ole Miss. One of them will keep it a little bit closer to the other, but I do think Ole Miss will win. But I think Tulane can give them a game, but not enough to win. And I don't think there's any question in the other game. I just think Oregon is a really solid team. I really like Dan Lanning as the head coach. He's had opportunities to go elsewhere many times. So I think they take care of business against JMU pretty easily.
By the way, that 7:30 TNT game is JMU Oregon. That is going to be the 7:30 game. The winner will take on Texas Tech in the Capital One Orange Bowl. I'm going with Ole Miss and Oregon to both get big victories there. I see them getting the job done. Just a reminder, the first game is on ABC and ESPN. The last two are on TNT. So be sure to get your remote ready to change the channel.
And I think, Eli, if I'm not mistaken, that this Miami game is at noon today, right?
Yes, the Miami game is at noon. That's the
Yeah.
first game of the day. We have Brandon Connolly here.
Okay.
I'm going to bring him on. Brendan, good morning. Can you hear us?
Good morning, everybody. It's great to see another show with you guys and break down some college football. Just wanted to share with everybody. I like Jim's pick with Miami. It's been brought to my attention that Texas A&M is replacing coordinators. For this game today. But really, what I wanted to share is I had just an amazing experience with Jim's nephews, my best friends, at the Army Navy game last weekend, and all this talk on the show so far, all I can think of is two words: money grab. Everything has been a money grab. The NBA Cup, boxing, etc. The purity of now we're talking college football playoff. The money grab here is that they've expanded it. I couldn't be any more anti-playoff than anybody. I think it has destroyed the bowl games. I think that we're talking about really one good game today, and I mean hopefully all three will be good, but I just don't see it. I have no fault for JMU being in this. The ACC has stunk for years. The fact that they're considered a power conference is mind-boggling. But I wanted to go back to the purity of the sport and America's game, Army Navy last weekend with the Monahan boys. They're coming to MetLife next year, and I think if anybody really wants to see college football, not necessarily a minor league NFL, to please get to that game next year. It couldn't have been any better done by both academies. The game was an incredible game, great football, but the pageantry is just something else. I'll take your thoughts.
And Brendan, I thought of you very frequently during that game because I knew who you were there with. And I've never been to an Army Navy game, but I want to go next year. So
I'm counting.
make that happen
Well,
for me.
well-
Get all your connections and get me in that stadium.
Well, I'd suggest that we take the show live to West Point next year before an Army Navy game. That would be fantastic. But I just I couldn't be any more anti-playoff. I just and talk about money grab again. The NFL has inserted itself today again, and they're going to do it again on Christmas, and it's just got to stop. And again, I'll take your thoughts on this because maybe I'm in the minority, but I just feel like we're oversaturating the sport. It is. I don't see enough pros. I see more cons than I see pros, and I guess I'll just hang up and listen. It's great to be with you guys this morning, but I'd love your thoughts on the take between college football playoff and the NFL, and go back to ratings if you will. But I'll hang up and listen.
All right.
Appreciate it, Brandon.
Thank you, Brendan.
I want to go back to the 2 points. I'll first start off with the Army Navy post, the comment that he mentioned. Army Navy has been a classic. When he was here at MetLife Stadium, I know a lot of people that went there and they had such a great time. They had extra trains running on NJ Transit. It was such a big event, and it's more than just a college football game. It's the matter of the fact of these two great branches of our military playing football, uniting together, to have some fun, and it's really such a great experience. And to his other comment about the NFL and stuff, I said this to you, Jim, earlier. The NFL needs to be and always wants to be number one, and they cannot let another sport or another league take the crown. And that is just the bottom line, because we see it now. Look at this Christmas Day. We have now 3 games, went from 2 to 3. And they were, guess what? On streaming platforms, Netflix and Prime Video. So which means is for us, the fans, what happens now is you either have 2 choices. You either have to watch the NBA games on cable television on ABC, or you're going to have to change your TV or your phone and go over to Prime Video and Netflix to watch these football games. And same thing like the
Yeah.
Saturday games. Now they want to compete with college football. They said, you know what? I don't want college football to be the king. Let's put some NFL games there. Let's put 2 of them, and let's put them in on the 2 TNT games. Because guess what? TNT are not a cable channel that is with the NFL. They're Warner Brothers, and they're only a college football thing. They're not a NFL thing. So let's just go ahead and compete with them. We'll put the games on Fox, let TNT run college football, and let them be college football. That's what happens. Just the NFL wants to be king.
And they are. We actually use the term, they're the bully of the sports world, and the popularity of the NFL is taking away from the luster of college football at this time. And I agree with Brendan. Yeah, maybe we're oversaturated with the college football playoffs. But the good thing about the Army Navy game is last week, that was really the only game that
was on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. And
at least the NFL did put games on that day.
Yep.
I guess that's a 1 plus.
They did?
No, they said they didn't. I said at least
they did. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And this isn't good for the NBA either, because on Christmas Day, as you said, that was always the NBA's day, and now the NFL has
they said nope,
come in and muscled their way in, and unfortunately for the NBA, that's not going to be helpful for them, because
the NFL is always king.
Watch the NFL.
But the good news is, though, the matchups aren't the best now that Patrick Mahomes is now hurt for the Kansas City, which we'll talk about the Christmas Day games in a little bit. But the matchups aren't great for Christmas Day. I believe the Chiefs are one of the games on nighttime for Prime Video. I'm going to double check. Yeah, Chiefs Broncos are the nighttime game. Cowboys Commanders, which both teams are eliminated. The Lions Vikings. The Vikings are eliminated. The only team available is the Lions, which it all depends on this week's games and how it turns out. So in reality here, these are games with no playoff implications, nothing. The only game maybe would be the Lions and maybe the Broncos, because the Broncos, they're going to be in the playoffs. It's just a matter of where they fall in the standings. But still.
Yeah, who's going to be the number 1 seed, yeah.
The last note from the college football, Kenny Dillingham, Arizona State head coach, has signed a new contract worth $7.5 million. That was announced today.
And I wanted to just bring one quick thing up. This Diego Pavia from Baylor. I mean, he tried to make this about himself.
Absolutely.
And he's an arrogant, and I just couldn't be more disappointed by the way he showed, dressed up with a hoodie, all that kind of stuff. And Mendoza was clearly the Heisman Trophy winner. I told you he nailed it down with that big win over Ohio State, and he clearly deserved it. He's a great kid, humble kid, thanks his parents and whatnot. And this guy Pavia tried to make it about himself. And I was a little surprised, actually, by the voters that they put him in second to Mendoza, because I thought Jeremiah Love was clearly the second place backup. He couldn't have beaten Mendoza, not after the game against Ohio State. But
there was no chance on that one. Andrew says, "Good morning, guys. Great points by Brandon. Thank you, Andrew." And with that, I think it's time to move on to the NFL.
Okay.
But let's talk about the NFL. We had a big game this week, which had a lot of playoff implications on the line. Seattle and Los Angeles. Seattle took the victory 38-37 in overtime. And there was a little bit of controversy as we had a 2-point conversion that was a backwards play, successful for Seattle. And we also had a 2-point conversion at the end of the overtime by Seattle, which it wouldn't be Seattle if we didn't throw the football on the goal line. I mean, of course, that's just Seattle. But
There's a history there, yeah.
yeah, there's history there. But both these teams, Seattle and Los Angeles, are both in the playoffs as we bring up the not standing chart, the playoff picture for both these teams. And it's close right now. There's a lot
It
of
is.
teams that pretty much are secured, but there's two teams that could wind up in the playoffs. As we see here, the Colts could wind up in there. The Ravens could wind up in the playoffs. The Lions and the Panthers could even wind up in the playoffs. And these are going to come down to the games tomorrow.
Yep. And there's a bunch of little, like I said, how about that Patriots Bills game? That was a great
game in itself. Absolutely.
You know,
35-31 the final. Buffalo taking the victory, going 1-1 in the series. That's what we like to see in the NFL. And if you look at the map, and we have the picture here, Patriots are at 11-3, Bills at 10-4. Patriots loss and a Bills win moves the Bills into the front runner to win the division. That's crazy to think about in itself. And remember, we have 3 more games left for all these teams, including in the regular season today and the next 2 weeks. So anything is possible for these teams.
Yep. But that really, it just touched on that 2-point conversion thing. That was a very strange thing. I mean, if you look at the letter of the rule, you know, I mean, if it's a backwards pass, it's a fumble. And, you know, but the refs didn't indicate. They called it an incomplete pass right there. I don't know why the Rams got penalized basically for knocking down the pass. It was a very strange thing. And it does bring back into play about, you know, how legitimate these are and how these calls. It's just, for me, the lost a lot of credibility in my eyes. Sorry.
But let me tell you, I saw the highlights from the analysts and everybody from Kirk Herbstreit and Trevor Cullen, who was the rules analyst for the Prime Video broadcast and stuff. They did a really good job explaining. I think the referees on the call in the field, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that they blew the whistle. At the same time, too, is they perfectly described, and you see the replays of the backwards motion, no problem there. And if we also look at the replay again, Seattle picked up the football, even though the whistle was dead, in the end zone. So technically, if you want to play that game, technically Seattle recovered it, even though the whistle was blown.
Well, they did, no question, and they got the 2 points, and they went on to win the game. And
yeah, and it was a great game.
But I still think when you look at those two teams, those two teams, though, I think clearly the Rams are better, even though Seattle's having a great year.
Absolutely.
And Sam Darnold, yeah. So,
and you know what? It's going to come down to these next couple games, because it looks like it's going to be either Seattle or the Rams that are going to end up winning the division, or are going to be the number 1 seed. And it's just the bottom line. If we look at the other 2 matchups in the games on the paper, Bears-Packers, that's happening today. That's one of the games, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But this one determines who's going to be the front runner in the division, who's going to take that second place spot in the NFC, first place in the division. It's going to come down to this game pretty much. Those 2 teams are the front runner. And if you look at it from the Lions' perspective, they're 8-6. They could technically still sneak into the playoffs if they get a win tomorrow and they win the next 3 games. The Cowboys have no shot. They're pretty much done. Their season's done for the Cowboys. We can clarify that one right there. Even if they win tomorrow, it's done for them. But if you look at the Panthers, they're still in the run to win the division because they have a game tomorrow and a very tough game versus the Buccaneers. Buccaneers-Panthers is the game tomorrow. That game pretty much determines who's the front runner of the division. Yes, there's 2 more games left of the season, but this is a divisional matchup. It's a really good matchup, and we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, I guess the only good thing about all of this is that there's a lot more parity, right? That this has kind of been an off year, and Patrick Mahomes goes down with an ACL, so we're not going to see the Chiefs, you know, in the playoffs this year. So I guess from a fan perspective, obviously not taking into account what teams you specifically root for, or what are your favorite teams. The parity is really, really good, and this is going to come down to the last week of the season about who goes where, who gets in, who doesn't.
And you're absolutely right there. And if you look at back to the chart again, the Patriots, they could easily win the AFC if they win these next couple of games and the Broncos take some falls. So it really is going to come down to how these 2 teams play out. And if you look at the team on the bubble, the Colts, if the Colts, Texans, and Jaguars, they're all still in the fight right now. Each of these teams have a potential to win division. Yeah, the Jaguars probably look like the front runner, but look at the Texans. They came out of nowhere. They did not have a great start to the season. Now look at them. They're potentially going to win the division here, depending on how the season goes. We're going to have to watch out for both those teams, particularly on the AFC South side of things. But a really tight race and a very interesting format as we look into the playoffs.
Yeah, no question. I think it's pretty good for sports fans to see the parity and the different teams. But I'm still a believer in the Buffalo Bills, and winning that division, which was seemed inconceivable of a few weeks ago when New England ran off a 10-game or 11-game winning streak, whatever. The Buffalo Bills are very, very tough to beat at home, and this would have been the year for them to win that division and get a higher seed because they don't have to go play Kansas City. So, this is an interesting scenario in the last 3 weeks of the NFL season.
I want to get to a couple comments before I go back to some more NFL notes. Brandon says, anyone want to talk about Pete Carroll and his fall from grace ever since the worst call in Super Bowl history? Before we get to Brandon and his answer, let's go to Eric. He says, good morning to all. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas, Eric. And Brandon, the Bills and Rams will be favored versus anyone they play. You're no question about that there. But back to your comment there, Pete Carroll. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I never seen this Raiders team go that bad at this. I mean, it's unbelievable how bad they've gone to be. And yes, the weapons, they don't have the weapons and the players on the Raiders side, but yeah, this is pretty bad by the Raiders if we think about it.
Well, and it's true because, Pete Carroll, just absolutely put all his chips on Geno Smith, and that hasn't worked out for him. So the Raiders are, I think it's a one and done for Pete Carroll. They're going to do whatever they can to make some trades and whatnot. And, what we're getting down to now is who's going to get the top pick. Right now, the Giants have the top pick. But, I see the Raiders doing whatever they can to get Fernando Mendoza. And the Jets may be players in draft day trades as well because they need a quarterback, which is, what a situation in New York, for both teams. So great stuff, actually, when you think about it. But
it is. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the Giants, they go for a quarterback. So even if they get the number one pick, they ain't going to pick a quarterback. And if they do, everything is going to go crazy. Let me tell you, if they do decide to do that, make that dumb choice. But because they have Jackson Dart. But we'll have to see what happens. But it'll be a very interesting draft race, and we'll have to keep an eye on those teams, as you mentioned, as we go to the final weeks of play. Couple notes before we go to
one other quick
Go
note.
ahead.
I mean, from Miami, the season's kind of been a disaster, and now they've decided. I mean, just 2 years ago, they paid Tua up in that upper echelon payroll, like Lawrence and Burrow and whatnot. And he's not the answer, so they're going to move on. So there's quarterback situations all over the place, but I think Pete Carroll is not going to be the head coach of the Raiders next year, so we won't have to worry about that.
That's absolutely fair there, too. And there's a couple notes in the NFL before we go to our picks. The Jaguars have re-signed Jacoby Myers to a 3-year, $60 million deal. Jaden Daniels has been benched for the Commanders with the amount of the playoffs at this point. Just made sense, bench him as well. So he's been benched. The Jets have fired defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. Packers edge Micah Parsons also suffered an ACL injury, just like Patrick Mahomes, so he's out for the season. And the Giants waived kicker Young Ho Koo. They'll now go to their 4th kicker this season. I guess the Giants. I mean, if what the Giants should do in this first round, pick up a kicker, please. Do that as your first pick.
Yeah, well, why don't they just drive down to Harrison, New Jersey, and get some guy on the New Jersey Red Bulls who could kick a ball 80 yards and put him there, because this guy Koo was an embarrassment for the New York Giants.
But pretty much. I mean,
embarrassed.
But the whole kicking, 4 kickers now. 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 4. It's unacceptable. Brandon said, did Cincinnati quit? Did you see the lack of fight after Burrow got hit? Yeah, I mean, to me, I think they quit because they quit. What else can we say? Their season's done.
It's an interesting.
What are we going to say?
It is a little sad to see the kind of the tone that Joe Burrow has said, because I still think he's an elite quarterback. And he's got two of the best wide receivers in the game, but that's not enough. They fired Lou Anaromo last year, and we knew now that's not the problem. But this is is he campaigning to get out of Cincinnati and onto a more contending team? But I do think, yes, the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow, as disappointing it is, have pretty much packed it in. So,
Right. Well, at this time, let's go to our picks and take a look at that standings chart, the moment we've all been waiting for. And here it is. Jim still has the crown, 29-18. He gains a game, as you will, by 3. I stand at 26-21. But this week, we got a twist for everybody. We're picking 5 games. We're picking both Saturday games plus our 3 normal Sunday, Monday picks that we usually pick. So we have 5 games on tap. We could see some separation, could see some gain. We'll have to wait and see. Jim, I'll let you start off. What are your 5 games? We'll have the 2 Saturday plus your 3 bonus games. What are your picks?
All right. Well, I'll start on the Saturday picks. Philadelphia at Washington, and yeah, I got enough of seeing Washington. They Marcus Mariota is not the answer. That season has just completely fallen apart. They got to the championship game last year, but Philadelphia still has a great lineup. So I think that's going to be an easy call for me. I'll take Philadelphia. And the Green Bay and Chicago Bears. Now, this is interesting too, because I watched the end of the Packers game, and there was a lot of talk about Jordan Love being potential MVP candidate. Well, I didn't see that fire, that leadership that requires it to be thing. So I'm going to take, believe it or not, and I've mentioned all year, I'm not a Chicago Bears believer, but I'm going to take Chicago to beat Green Bay on Saturday. So,
wow. Again, this is a game that decides a lot in the division.
Yep. Who are your games on those? Give me your 2 games for Saturday first.
Okay, then we'll talk about the Sunday ones. Yeah, no question. I'm going with the Eagles 28-20. Eagles are going to take care of business. I mean, no Jaden Daniels. Commanders are done for the season. Eagles got the big win here. Packers Bears 8:20 on Fox. By the way, both games say are on Fox. I'm going with the Packers in this one, 27-24. I think the Packers they gotta win this one. And I think they're gonna get a big one here. It's gonna be a close score, yes, but big scoring wise, what I'm referring to. But yeah, I think the Packers get the victory here. So we have some separation.
Okay. All right. So I got my 3 games for Sunday.
Yep, and I do too.
All right. So one of them, yeah, I'm going to talk about this Cincinnati. One of them is Cincinnati, Miami. And I just don't see anything from Miami that could is as down as Cincinnati is. I think they're still going to win and beat Miami. So I'm going to take Burrow to maybe at least get some credibility back that he hasn't quit. I think it's an important game for him. So I'm taking them. We also have the Chargers at Dallas. And, the Dallas, I think they're actually officially eliminated or hanging on by a thread.
Chargers are in. The Cowboys are technically still in, but they're going to be eliminated.
Right. So I'm going to take the Chargers in that game. And then there's one other interesting game in Pittsburgh at Detroit. And as Eli pointed out, Detroit's kind of on the bubble, but they still have a lot of talent on them.
They could still easily make it.
Yeah, I can't put my money on Pittsburgh. I mean, one week you see Rodgers like he's still got a little bit in the tank, but overall, I think the team is broken. So I'm going to take the Lions to keep their playoff hopes alive by beating Pittsburgh this week.
So just to refresh on Jim's picks, he has the Eagles, the Bears, the Bengals, the Chargers, and the Lions. Those are his 5 games this week. Here are my 5. We talked about the Eagles and Packers. Let's go to my Sunday games. Bengals, Dolphins. Cincinnati favored by 1.5, 1 o'clock CBS. You know what, though? Miami's going to surprise a lot of people. I can't trust the Cincinnati team because we don't know where they're going. As Brandon mentioned, they pretty much quit at one point.
Yep.
Burrow's going to be wishy-washy. I think Miami gets the victory here. I'm going with Dolphins 26-24.
Okay.
We have the Buccaneers and the Panthers, 1 o'clock on Fox. This is a game that is going to decide who's going to be the leader in the division and in the South of the NFC, who's going to have that shot in the playoffs. To me, the Buccaneers have been banged up with a lot of injuries, so I see the Panthers getting the win here, 22-18. Despite their loss last week at the Saints, I see the Panthers coming back and getting a win this week.
Ooh, we're going to have some separation one way or the other here. Go ahead.
I don't know. We'll see. The Jaguars and the Broncos, 4:05 on Fox. A really good game as well, because you look at both these teams. The Jaguars are right now, they're sitting in the division winner spot, but the Texans could easily come up and jump into that spot without a problem because they have the Raiders this weekend, the Texans.
Yeah.
And the Broncos, they're sitting at first place. But can we trust this Broncos team? I can't. I'm going to go with the Jaguars in this one, 26-23.
Okay. Well,
so I'm going with the Eagles, the Packers, the Dolphins, the Panthers, and the Jaguars. Good luck, Jim.
Wow. Good luck to you too. That's an interesting pick because, I kept saying all along, Denver wins, but they win very close games. But I think that's in Denver, right, Eli? Is that in Denver? Jacksonville, Denver? I think so.
I'm muted. I'm sorry. It is in Denver. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I was muted, but yeah, it's in Denver.
All right. Interesting picks. This is going to be good. Good week.
It's going to be great. I'm excited. I mean, maybe we maybe have some separation. Maybe we'll be close. I'll be excited to see how this goes. I mean, plays out. Good luck to you. Hopefully, I get the crown back. I mean, this is this is my time. Maybe.
All right. Well, a couple other quick things. So, not much happening in Major League Baseball. Besides the Yankees letting another pitcher go, and he goes to the Mets. So we got Williams and Weaver to the Mets. But I'm still reeling that they just let Pete Alonso go. I'm shocked by that. I don't understand it, but I hope he thrives in Baltimore. But that means the Yankee fans have to play them. They probably play 12 to 16 games or whatever into division.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really the only notable thing. The thing is that the Yankees didn't even have a conversation with Luke Weaver. So I don't know what their plans are. Right now, they really haven't done anything to improve the team. So it's going to be an interesting offseason. We'll see how that plays out.
It really is.
So not much going on.
A couple other notes in the MLB because I was going to bring up a random points, but might as well bring it up now. The Padres signed Michael King to a 3-year deal worth $75 million. The Phillies and Adolis Garcia signed a 1-year, $10 million deal, and Adrian Hauser and the Giants signed a 2-year, $22 million deal.
I don't know. I can't figure out baseball anymore. It's getting crazy.
I mean, the Mets, I'm still trying to figure that out, but I guess we still have time, right?
Yep. But here, one other quick thing. Let's move on.
Brandon says they don't have a plan, the Mets.
Apparently they don't.
We knew that. Let's go to college basketball real quick.
Yeah, real quick, and not a lot, but I wanted to give a shout out to your Seton Hall Pirates.
Where's Bill? Where's Seton Hall talk?
Okay, because we're getting into the part of the season in college basketball where you're playing in your conference games.
Yep.
And yes, Seton Hall on paper really hasn't beat their marquee win was against North Carolina State. But they went in on the road, beat Providence, just to keep an eye on. But you're right. Eli and I talked about it before the show. They still got to play UConn and Creighton and Marquette, and those are teams that are very formidable. But I'm kind of pulling for Seton Hall now. I like the fact that they're 11-1.
Yeah, call in, Bill. Let us know your thoughts. I see you're commenting about the college basketball. Call in. Let us know your thoughts about Seton Hall and all this college basketball stuff. But yeah, to me, college basketball is exciting. Seton Hall got a big win last night, first Big East team that they beat, which is Providence. I like their potential, just hoping that they don't get ranked, because when we get ranked, we don't play good. That's based off of the history. I've seen it. I just don't want to see them get ranked. So
yeah, but
right now, playing great. But yet again, they also haven't played anybody really, really good either. Yes, we played a Big East school. Yes, but who do they beat? We can't say they beat anybody really big. Like, okay, yeah, get them ranked.
And overall, kind of the top teams. You have Arizona, you have Michigan, you have
Yeah.
Duke. Those are teams. But keep an eye. Michigan right now, they've beaten like their last 6 games. They've beaten everybody they played by more than 25 points. So that's going to be a team to watch. Of course, with Arizona and Duke is back there, and they got Boozer and so forth. So college basketball, once the football thing, starts to
Yep.
dwindle
Then college
down.
basketball takes center stage.
Yep.
Um,
Then it becomes
William
relevant.
Hathaway, the one and only, is here. He's got some stuff about college basketball. William, good morning. How are we?
Good morning. I'm a little bit. I've been a little bit under the weather since Thursday.
Hope you're feeling better.
Hi, William.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better. I'm gonna miss the Never Forget Classic in Newark today. That's an annual thing that I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go, but I'm unable to make that. Woke up a little with
Yeah.
fluid. Need more fluids.
Of course.
But I'm doing much better. Jim. Seton Hall's on a roll. They're like 11-1 right now, and it's like it's like a deja vu. Who is the best team in Jersey right now? It's Seton Hall. They've been, like you said, they got big games coming up. UConn, Connecticut, Villanova. A lot of stuff going on. Some key points last night. Stephon Payne, Adam Clark, all big players in the game. Najee Hines was missed due to some issue with the coaching, whatever. I don't know, whatever happened at Seton Hall.
Something happened, yeah.
I hope Najee Hines is feeling much better. Wish him well. Big game coming up on Tuesday against Villanova.
Yeah.
Unable to attend that. I'll probably miss that. Be back in action after the holiday.
Of
But
course.
Jim, Seton Hall is one of the best teams in Jersey right now. Like you haven't, like I said on the show last night, our post game show with Nick from Milburn. You
Yep.
got to take one game at a time. You can't really be more progressive than the Shaheen Holloway. Shaheen Holloway has proven himself. He
100%.
has proven himself 100% right now. He doesn't owe nobody nothing. He just came in. This is his recruiting class. They have a good team. They have a good bench. We do follow Seton Hall on a regular basis. But Jim, you got to get, like you say, big game today in Newark. At Arkansas, I think it's Arkansas and Houston for the
Yeah.
Never Forget Classic. That's 2 major college basketball teams coming in the tri-state area, showing their talent. DJ Wagner, another key player that played at Camden High School back in the day. He's coming in, against Calipari. Calipari is a good coach, and the other guy, Calvin Sampson. Houston is good. I think they're number 8 in the country, and Arkansas is number 13. Am I correct, Eli?
Yes, I believe you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so these teams will show the annual Never Forget Classic. This is in honor of the 9/11 victims that happened in New York. It is a big event. I wish I could attend. My heart is there. We will have coverage in our paper called Local Talk Newark. Even though I'm not there, brother. But I'm getting better each and every day. But I will be back at the Rock after New Year. And Jim, I'll tell you what, I got a good pick for you. I got Indiana winning the national championship. What you think about that, man?
Well, I think listen, William, thanks for calling. I appreciate. Feel better, my friend.
All right.
But I
Take
do
care,
like,
Tom.
I do like Indiana a lot right now. So I think they're my favorite, like we talked about.
Yeah.
So feel better,
talk to
buddy.
you guys
Yeah.
soon.
Feel better, Bill.
All right. Talk to you soon, man.
Thank you, Will.
Yeah.
All right. A couple comments
All right,
real quick
Eli.
before we go to random points. Brandon says, "Isn't it crazy how Lane Kiffin is pretty much forgotten since he left for LSU? Notre Dame got left out. Michigan has a scandal that is just bizarre and tragic. Seems like years ago that Lane left for the Bayou."
Uh-huh.
And Frank,
Well, because it's not really relevant. It's pretty much something that we knew. It's greed, Brendan. It was more important for him to get 300, extra $3 million a year when this could have been, an opportunity for him in this college football playoff to make Ole Miss relevant again, and he decided to take the money. I'm well over it.
Frankie says, "Morning, gentlemen. Arkansas and Calipari are the real deal. He is the best college coach of all time, in my opinion."
Yeah, he's pretty good, Frankie. Thank you for that. Yeah, when we focused on Seton Hall from a Jersey perspective,
Right.
but we still know who
Who's the
the
best
teams
teams out
are.
there?
It's
Yeah.
Houston. Yeah,
Appreciate
it's
Bill for the
Houston.
insight
It's
there
Duke.
too.
Thanks, Frankie. Appreciate
Yeah.
it, buddy.
Let's go to some random
All right,
points because we
Eli.
are running later than usual. Presented by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut. I got 3 points, small ones, so I'm going to kick it off.
Yep.
A major shakeup this week took place as the Academy announced that YouTube will be the new home for the Oscars starting in 2029, moving from ABC and cable TV to streaming. YouTube will be the non-paid platform. It'll be free for everybody to watch the Oscars. It'll not be on the YouTube TV subscription plan. So that's a plus there, but still a major shakeup. We're going from cable television, from one of the major award shows, to streaming and YouTube. And the last 2 notes, earlier this week, Bergen Catholic and Ramapo, their basketball game, was canceled on Wednesday following unsafe court conditions following a slippery court. The JV game was playing before somebody got hurt because of it, and the game got suspended mid-game. Varsity did not play that night. JV got suspended mid-game, and a crazy sight to see in Bergen Catholic. And the last note, the 2025 SNL finale is tonight with your hosts Ariana Grande and Cher as your musical guests. I'm looking forward to that one. And this will also be Bowen Yang's final SNL show, as he announced he will be leaving the show after 8 seasons. Pretty crazy stuff for Saturday Night Live. Tune inside; should be a good show.
Good.
Okay. Go ahead, Jim. It's all you for the random points.
All right, I got a few here, and we talk a bit about the college football playoff, but we followed last year and we brought up the Division III football playoffs, and we were following Susquehanna because I knew somebody who was on the team, and he really stepped up, and they made a good run again this year. But the Final Four in the Division III, and there'll be one notable team missing, maybe two, but we have John Carroll versus North Central in one of the semifinals, and University of Wisconsin River Falls versus John Hopkins, who did knock off Susquehanna. But one of the notable teams missing from that is the perennial Mount Union. So Division III is pretty good football as well. So I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to John Kaczynski from Susquehanna. It was his last game, but congratulations on their run there. Couple other quick notes. Nebraska volleyball, and you know how big that's become. The women's basketball, they had 63 straight home wins, but they lost the match to Texas A&M. So maybe a little more parity and no domination in women's volleyball. Couple of hockey notes. Leon Draisaitl got his 1,000th career point for the Edmonton Oilers, and that's the 4th fastest in NHL history. This guy's playing with Connor McDavid is reaps a lot of benefits. So congratulations to him. And obviously, he's the first German-born player to get 1,000 points. And Max Celebrini, the #1 draft pick last year, 3rd fastest to 50 points in a season for a rookie. And of course, only behind, I'm sure, it was Gretzky and Sidney Crosby.
Of course.
So no surprise there. But that was a big win. And, you know, we're going to touch on a perspective. Greg Biffle, you know, long time, highly successful NASCAR driver, and his family were killed in a plane crash. And, you know, when he retired, back with the California fires, you know, he rented helicopters and went and saved a lot of people. So from a humanitarian perspective, what a wonderful guy, and a very tragic loss for the NASCAR series. So just wanted to bring that up as well.
Yes. With that, let's go to our entertainment and photo segment. That is what's your recommendation? The photo segment sponsored by Vital Selections. Scan the QR code to learn more. What's your
I got one quick one because we are running out of time, but I do.
Yes.
I watched Mayor of Kingstown with Jeremy Renner on Paramount Plus. Very, very interesting and exciting. very well written show. It's very good. I highly recommend it.
Christmas Day at 10 o'clock in the morning on ABC, Disney Parks Magical Christmas Day Parade. Also, this week, I'm going to be on the air from 10 to 1 p.m. on WSOU 89.5 FM radio. 89.5 FM radio. So tune in for that. I'll be the DJ controlling the music and also giving some updates, and maybe I'll have some giveaways. I don't know how that works. So I'll find out on Tuesday when I get the memo. But tune in. I'll be on the air 89.5 FM on the radio or the iHeartRadio app.
Great.
Here's some pictures.
It's my grandson and my granddaughter in front of their Christmas tree. How adorable are they? I just can't say enough about them.
Yeah.
And there's the whole family, my daughter, my son-in-law, and the kids with Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Great picture there.
That's
too.
Awesome. And of course, we had to put the honeymooners, of course.
Well, this is a very rare picture because this is the only time the honeymooners stepped out of character. It was the Christmas show, and Ralph Cramden and Alice, and they introduced Ed Norton and Trixie in their characters. So it was a great picture, and it's one of my favorite shows, but wanted to put that up for the holidays.
That's awesome. We have a lot of notable passings to get to. So, Jim, I'll let you start it off, and whatever you don't get, I will catch up and add up at the end.
All right. So there's a bunch here. Let's go outside. I mean, we know the tragedy with Rob Reiner and his wife. That was a horrible thing. Very prominent actor and producer and director for Hollywood movies. Just a terrible situation there. Horrible.
Yes.
And from General Hospital, and I wasn't a soap opera guy, but Tony Geary passed away. And that was one of the biggest soap opera moments in television history, the big wedding with Luke and Laura. So he was also 78 with Rob Reiner.
Yeah.
And one other note from Hollywood was Gil Gerard passed away, and he was 82. But I remember he played Buck Rogers in the 21st century as an actor. I actually saw a Buck Rogers movie in the theater when it came out back in like 1979. So he had a good career too. From the world of sports, there was a couple others. And I bring this up because we mentioned it. We were going to try to get an interview, was Tony Graziano. And Tony Graziano was, from a sports perspective, the manager of Billy Backus and Carmen Basilio, who went on to win heavyweight title, not heavyweights. I don't remember, they were lightweights or whatever, but very prominent in the boxing world from Syracuse, New York. But he was also a two-time Purple Heart winner in World War II, fought on D-Day and the Battle of the Bulge. And, just a great legend from Canastota, New York. Big loss there. He was 103 years old. And one from former Ranger, Bobby Russo, but before he became and finished his career with the Rangers, Bobby Russo won 4 Stanley Cups with the Montreal Canadiens. He was 85 years old. And from the world of news, Peter Arnett, who was a longtime CNN correspondent during the Gulf War and so forth, but Nobel Peace Prize winner or Pulitzer winner, he was 91 years old.
I got a lot more on the list. But first, Diego says, rest in peace to Rob Reiner. Thanks for the laughs. And thank you, Diego, for tuning in. Former Mariners pitcher Mike Campbell has passed away. He was born in 1964. Pro soccer player Ethan McLeod has passed away at the age of 21 after a car crash. Country star Joe Ellie has passed away at the age of 78. Former Devil and NHL star Paul Gange has passed away. He was born in 1962. From She's a Nad Mama Jama, Carl Carlton has passed away at the age of 72. Former Vikings coach and personal executive Paul Wiggin has passed away. He was born in 1934. NCIS Los Angeles actress Rachel Carpani has passed away at the age of 45 unexpectedly. From the film Waterloo Road, actor William Rush has passed away at the age of 31. And the victims of the Australia shooting and the Brown University shooting, we send our thoughts and prayers as always.
Absolutely. Wow, what a tough weekend
A lot of
in that
notable
segment.
passings, unfortunately. But other than that,
But
we had a great show, and we hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And we thank you for tuning in to a great show of Sports with Mono and Mono.
yeah, and I do want to send my Merry Christmas wishes to all our fans, and thanks for the support and the call-ins and so forth. And our show is growing, every week, and it's very gratifying for both Eli and I to be doing this show. We've been partners now for a couple of years, and it's great. And Eli just finished up his first semester at Seton Hall University, and congratulations to you. And Eli, congratulations. I'm going to try to listen to your DJ skills on the
Ta.
on the.
Well, it's more of
But
the audio.
listen, all my best to everybody, and you can always send us an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com. So Merry Christmas to all, and we'll see you back here. Enjoy your Christmas. See you back here next time.